let's see if we give a hoot about this video. Man, the dirtbag left term feels really outdated, huh? I'm pretty sure this term was invented for, like, Chapo Trap House. It feels kind of out of date. One of those, like, making the video on the subject because we can kind of things.
That is what Barack and I think about every day as we try to guide and protect our girls through the challenges of this unusual life in the spotlight. How we urge them to ignore those who question their father's citizenship or faith.
Wait, hold on one second. Is this a leftist? What leftist would use Michelle Obama in, like, an affirmative sense? Lib? Lib! How often do libs make hit pieces? It's somewhat ironic. I just want to check the vibe. Hold on. What is Burning Man? I was a haunted house. My face. Harry Potter bad. I'm not getting... I can't get a good read just from the videos. Whatever. Here, we'll watch a bit. What's up?
We insist that the hateful language they hear from public...
Can we...
That our motto is...
A full minute of this at the beginning. A full minute. Okay.
I don't consider myself, and I don't believe I have ever been considered to be a part of the dirtbag left. But I'm certainly a little dirtbag adjacent. I've been known to be a little grimy. I don't pretend to be...
Oh, all right. I'm going to withhold any judgmental comments that I have until after I've been given reason to make them. Here, let's go to me.
Typology is centered rather than the leftist. When the desire to shock and provoke and trigger...
Ironically, taking positions so aggressive as to be absurd.
Red Scare's real offense is nihilism. Nobody even calls Red Scare dirtbag left because they don't even pretend to be on the left anymore. They're like terminally contrarian, fascist adjacent, you know? She one-head vibes in many ways. The funny thing is, I genuinely feel like Red Scare is the real-life version of every bad thing everyone ever assumed about Shiwan Head times 10. Like, every negative statement or prediction or judgment made against Shiwan Head were all taken and exacerbated, and they are all applied to them, you know? Do they mean the podcast? They mean the podcast.
Maybe I should date an abusive man so I can get motivated to be thin, and misrepresenting basic facts.
I'm always doing this.
Claiming that the Mueller investigation already cleared Trump of wrongdoing. The show collapses.
But she was a woman, so that's worse. The Red Scare girls are also women. Okay, you guys don't know what Red Scare is, because my chat's full of 15-year-old NB queers or whatever. Okay, never mind. Just...
into meaningless offense, meant only to spit in the eye of anyone still foolish enough to care.
Recently, Anna and Dasha seem to have even abandoned their myopic brand of class consciousness for something more like political nihilism. They've descended so far down the shitposter rabbit hole that they've completely politically disengaged. To sincerely care about anything is cringe, so they embrace a kind of politics of spite and insincerity.
I don't disagree with that, but they're definitely not, like, depoliticized. They're pretty like openly fascist. They're just fascist from the perspective of, like, I don't know, being a young 20-something bitter gay bulimic or whatever. There's like a very specific brand of cynicism here that they cut into, but they're definitely not apolitical or whatever.
To me, Red Scare represents an extreme case of a pretty common disease on the shitposting left, when the dirtbag typology is centered rather than the leftist. When the desire to shock and provoke and trigger is prioritized over, you know, having good politics, there's a disturbing regressive trend among nominally progressive online personalities. I'm thinking of edgy leftists like Vaush, who somehow always find a way to use their platforms to harass marginalized people.
This is such a, like, the only thing that I know about me is a drama that I heard about and people, like, circulate. Like, it's always so bizarre for me because there are content creators who constantly get engaged in drama. Like, for instance, like Destiny actively revels in drama and causing it and engaging with it or whatever. And, you know, like, I loathe drama. I don't like waking up and seeing my name trending on Twitter because it's almost always for negative reasons. I like attention. I love attention. Don't get me wrong. But drama specifically in the context of this environment, it's just, I don't get much satisfaction from it. So then I do all my streams and it's all like politics, and I do like an hour-long rant yesterday about like essentially anarchic queer linguistic norms. And then I watch a video from someone being like, well, 3 years ago he thought a black woman was wrong, so he's always using his platform to harass marginalized people, you know?
Like when he misunderstood black nationalism and sent his thousands of followers to harass a much smaller creator and
Millions, thank you.
call her a white genocide enjoyer or whatever. Or when he used J.K. Rowling's trans misogyny as an excuse to promote just general misogyny, I guess.
Why promote? Okay, that's not what promote means. Promote means advocate for. I was just being misogynistic. There's a difference there, like a meaningful one, but okay. Also, I stand by it. It's not like I've stopped being casually misogynistic.
Women be quieter and start apologizing more. That is such a wild take, Ian. Have you met women? I apologized to my couch when I stubbed my toe on it. I'm thinking.
Thank God. I was gonna make a joke. I'm glad she already takes the right attitude towards life.
Of Keffels, who apparently grew tired of ratioing transphobes and decided instead to use her platform to harass feminist Asian writer Rosalind Toulousan for 2 entire years.
Wait, is this the Noodles? Wait, please tell me this is the Noodles drama. Is this seriously Noodlegate? Oh my God, dude. Yes! So for clarification, okay? Okay, for clarification, all right? A while ago, like 50 years ago, a white woman made a cookbook that included stuff like noodles and dumplings. That's it. It was a good cookbook. She grew up making noodles and dumplings, so she made a book about it. Somebody on Twitter said this was racist. Why are you, as a white woman, making noodles and dumplings? And Keffels said, I think it's okay to be a white person and make noodles and dumplings. And for 2 years, people have said Keffels was being racist for saying that. That's not a joke. I'm not leaving anything out. That's really it. That's the level we're on here.
Noodles are tasty has become a rallying cry similar to ethics in video game journals.
Noodles are tasty has become a rallying cry similar to we must secure a future for white people and their children or whatever. 1488, a well-known neo-Nazi dog whistle, rivaled only by Noodles Are Tasty, the other very well-known Nazi dog whistle. This isn't a joke. This really is the level that we're on here. Hey, quick tip to this lady. Honest tip, given earnestly by somebody who's watched a lot of video essays, okay? The reason you're making this video is because you know that it drives clicks and engagement. I have a lot of clout attached to my name. Keffels does as well. Certainly when it comes to drama. The problem is you've forgotten to make the video essay. You're not explaining anything that happened. Like, all you've done is show examples. Watch an H-Bomber video. You notice how, because this is topical because one just came out, you notice how when he wants to make an argument about the moral character of somebody, he provides examples rather than just, like, obliquely referring to a screenshot or some vaguely remembered drama event from multiple years ago. The reason you feel comfortable making this, like, way sort of gestural, like, you know, yes, the person who does that, is because you're either A, incompetent, which I'm not jumping to here. I don't think that's actually the reason. I think it's the second reason. It's because this is like insular virtue signal community drama bullshit where you're under the assumption that everyone else knows about this already, so you're just trying to cash in on views on a subject that you know there's already a lot of interest saturation. I think this is a very cynical and lazy way of making a video. If you want to argue that I'm racist, there are literally video clips of me saying the N-word hard R on stream. I just put in a little bit of effort. They're not hard to find. You can Google them. I'm just like, that sounds like a joke, like I'm being edgy here, but I'm actually being serious. It kind of bothers me a little bit when people are so arrogant when they make these stupid hit piece videos on me that they just go like, here's an example. Vaush. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just a way of like holding up a magnet to the people who already don't like us.
An alibi for a harassment campaign that has become a meme unto itself.
See? Exactly. See? Oh my God. Yeah. See? That has become a meme unto itself. Like, she's referring to the already existing popularity of this discourse, meaning that she can just, you know, yeah, it's like, well, you know, I don't need to like make the argument here. We all already know how we feel about Vaush and Keffel, so I'm just going to refer to them, remind you that they're bad, and then continue. But not remind you with like an example. We're just going to sort of point, you know?
This isn't activism. This is just a racist waste of time, which...
See, notice how that statement makes no sense unless you're already familiar with the drama. She showed a Keffel's tweet that said noodles are tasty, and then she was like, "Yeah, no, this is a racist waste of time, not activism." What do you mean? You showed a tweet about noodles, lady. Why? What are you referring to here? You know?
To be fair, is a pretty accurate description of Clara's body of work. But this kind of boring reactionary trolling is not worthy of anyone's time or attention, and certainly not anyone who claims to be aligned with the left.
See, again, this was what I mean by the dismissive virtue signal. Like, are we even being invoked for the purpose of making a point, or is this just holding a beacon up to people who don't like us so they can add another, like, gem onto their, VDS and KDS Infinity Gauntlets? Like, what point is being made here? What, like, artistic statement is being made? What are you communicating? What personal analysis are you providing? Vaush, she would just say, "It's not my job to educate you." Yeah, this is kind of like that. It's like, it's not my job to educate you on these people and this topic that I'm making a video on that you're watching right now. Like, you click on the video and it's just somebody being like, "Yeah, what, you think I was going to explain it to you?" Again, like, the issue here is that, like, first of all, from a purely, like, self-interested perspective, there's a lot more for me to dig into if there actually is, like, an effort to cancel me or whatever. I think a lot of people on the left, the reason why I don't deal with woke scolds that much is because I come across as kind of invulnerable to them, and I think a lot of them have kind of given up. Like, it's been 5 years now, and I've only gotten more popular with time. You know, like, the view counts keep on a chugging, and in spite of all the shit they've done and they've said, it doesn't really seem to affect me, so I think they don't like going after me anymore. That's why they like going after Keffels, by the way. Notice how if you show any signs of weakness, and I'm not saying Keffels is weak, I'm just saying that she hasn't presented the same, like, invulnerability to harassment that I have for a long time now. They'll go after them like, it's like piranhas. You dump, like, you know, it's chum to the sharks. They go after people they think they can hurt, right? But in my case, like, a lot of them don't think they can hurt me, so they just don't, and the criticism kind of dries up. It's really all performative. It's like, it's an effort to demonstrate that there's some sort of in-group community power that, you know, sort of tied to harassing people that they think are problematic. And I'm kind of out of it now, I guess. But I wish they would try harder, you know? Come at me. The fact they think they can hurt her is literal transmisogyny. Oh, people like this will always disproportionately go after members of the queer community or women or whatever else. The more cis and male and straight, miss me with that shit, that you come off, the more invulnerable you come off to harassment, and the less they feel it's worth their time. Which is the reason why people like this have, you know, they spend a lot of time going after people on the left, and not so much going after people on the right.
If you're someone who consistently uses your platform to torment marginalized people, I don't really think you're doing leftism.
See, again, like, where's the substantiate the point? You showed a noodle tweet. You showed a noodle tweet. You showed a tweet saying noodles are tasty. You said it was like a rallying cry akin to ethics and games journalism without even remotely substantiate. It's like you might as well have not even said anything. You know, like, why?
No matter how much you want universal health care and a livable minimum wage. But I've noticed that a lot of people...
But I don't want either of those things. I just want state-mandated girlfriends or whatever. Vaush, I swear, if you swore off ironic misogyny, you'd have way more reach for your message. I'm sorry, I'm an authentic guy. I talk the way on stream that I do in real life. I make edgy jokes in real life. I make them here. I can't do the self-censorship thing. No, this isn't some, like, I'm a brave free speech warrior thing or whatever. It's just legitimately, I just act how I act. I try to rein it in sometimes. And trust me, I have way worse jokes that I'm making all the time in my head, okay? So it's not like we're not engaging in any kind of restraint. But, you know. Dude, just a little effort. I'm showing a lot of effort, okay? It's a wild one up in here, all right? Just a lot of wacky jokes, you know? Also, not gonna lie, I think that engaging in a kind of light and comedic level of ironic misogyny can actually demonstrate a person being better about gender issues than a person who is like super ultra PC all the time about it. In the same way that in my experience, black guys tend to be a lot more chill around white people who can be casual when it comes to race jokes, as opposed to somebody who's super straight-laced and stiff when it comes to anything race-related. Because the latter, when they're really stiff and like inflexible and sort of like don't engage with it, comes across as they're like afraid they might say something or they're uncomfortable with the subject. I guess just in interpersonal interactions, like day to day in my real life, I do make like casual jokes about women, but it's never seemed to cause many issues. Like I've talked to plenty of left-leaning women, feminists, you know, even like activist groups. I mean, I've talked to entire roomfuls of people whose jobs it was to be PC when public facing. And for the most part, I think it comes across okay because I'm demonstrating a comfort with the subject, not some like weird, stiff, uncomfortable, you know, kind of like withholding. Does that make any, whatever. It's a personal taste thing. I'm not saying that it's better for me to do it or whatever. I'm just saying that, you know, that's how I tend to think of it. I think sometimes it does indicate that. Also, some of the worst and creepiest fucking rapists that I've seen on the left have been those like straight collar nice guys who are super ultra fucking PC with women, but are like quietly seething that they get like, you know, dicked by Chad, but like they haven't gotten pussy or whatever. Like I don't know. I just have like a negative association with like a certain level of self-restraint. But I'm all right.
People who see themselves as politically incorrect leftists fall into this trap. Saying something outrageous or feuding with someone.
Doesn't this depend on how sensitive or looking for something to jump on the people you're currently around are? If the people around me are sensitive enough that it's a problem for them, that's a them problem thing. I don't really care. I mean, obviously, like, I'll always be polite to people, but if somebody just doesn't vibe with the way I present myself, that's okay. They can remove themselves from the situation. I'm not, like, kidnapping people. I'm not a teacher. They're not a captive audience. I think that the world in general would be a better place if people were a little bit more honest and straightforward about how they are, even if that how they are is annoying or off-putting to people. I think that the sort of false image of public agreeability can often be a lot more harmful than people just being kind of open sometimes about being things that other people might find negative. But again, really variable. Like, I'm not saying it's like, oh, the world would be better if everyone was an asshole. I'm not, again, I'm being like, I'm speaking in favor of being authentic and being a little cringe here, not in favor of just being mean to people. I think you should always try to be nice. You'd have better reach if you simply didn't do it when responding to videos like this without the context of you. I imagine it does seem genuinely sexist. Maybe. Hold their hand every once in a while. Yeah, but I feel like, I mean, oh, okay, like if somebody was watching this video in a vacuum and in good faith, would this overall engagement not indicate some level of self-awareness on my part? Like, I know what it looks like when guys are just casually sexist in a way that actually indicates sexism, you know? I've seen that before, plenty, you know? I grew up around guys in school. I know what that looks like. I guess I just don't feel like I give those vibes. Sometimes people disagree, but, you know, obviously I'll always be more charitable to myself than other people will.
That your average anime avatar Anon thinks is cringe gets you a lot of attention.
I know this is exhausting, but you should push back more on the bullshit Destiny says about you. Whatever he says, I am taller than him, okay? Don't believe his lies, all right? What's that meme image that was popular in his chat? I don't know if it still is, but with the memento, and he's holding up the photo. Don't believe his lies, and it's a picture of him, okay? Don't believe that, all right? What are we doing? Let's actually watch the video.
Leftism, no matter how much you want universal health care and a livable minimum wage. But I've noticed that a lot of people who see themselves as politically incorrect leftists fall into this trap. Saying something outrageous or feuding with someone that your average anime avatar Anon thinks is cringe gets you a lot of attention. And
what you see doesn't reflect what women see. Vaush, stop the casual misogyny or stop whining about people complain. How can you be this sensitive and also be a tier 2 sub in my chat? I'm not whining about people who complain. I'm explaining how I feel about it. And also, what you see doesn't reflect what women see. Let's be real here. Most of the people who go after me for this are guys speaking on behalf of women, okay? I wasn't born yesterday. Exactly, I'm not. You're not a tier 2 sub? Was that a gifted sub? Is this stolen valor?
we all love attention. But if you aren't careful, vulgarity can sour and become cruelty, and the political weapon of crudeness becomes a blunted cudgel wielded even against our allies. Now, anti-identitarian leftists will say that pandering to marginalized groups is weakening the left.
Wait, Again, please, with the video essays, you have to substantiate and explain what it is you're doing, what it is you're saying. You can't just say stuff like that without providing examples. I know what you mean because I know everything, but a lot of the people watching this won't. They're just kind of like nodding along. Like, you have to provide information. Give them something here.
That the woke scolds are off-putting to the white working class who would be on board with our project were it not for all these uppity insert marginalized identity here's. But like,
we're mixing arguments right here. Appeals to the white working class as a group that must be appealed to no matter what have always been bullshit on the left, in large part because the idea that the working class is a white group has always been like a Republican assumption. The working class is disproportionately made up of marginalized people, black and brown, women, queer of any kind. You know, the working class is not like, people will be like, the working class, and what they mean is like white guys in overalls who work on oil rigs or something, you know, or in Appalachia. You know, that's an incredibly tiny portion of the overall working class in this country, which constitutes, by the way, the vast majority of the people in this country. So that's one argument. The other argument is that woke scolds are off-putting to potential allies, and that is true. However, they're more off-putting to... Look, I'll say this, okay? If you go by, like, relative acceptance of a variety of issues, I would also be worried about how the woke scoldy behavior comes across to potential allies who are black. Please define woke scolds. When I say woke scold, what I mean is a progressive person who habitually gatekeeps or virtue signals or purity tests as a way of sort of selectively defining the bounds of their community group vis-a-vis like progressivism. Basically, like a scoldy woke person, you know? I think that the definition's going to be blurry, but there are a lot of people who fit it so perfectly that it's actually really easy to refer to examples of this. They tend to do the cry bully thing. Now, again, I don't think that woke scolds are all bad people. I don't think that it like makes them evil. I don't think they're all deliberately manipulative. I think that a lot of them are weak, vulnerable people. Many of them are young. They don't have a lot of social capital, and they're progressive, and they've grown up, and they're now in an online environment where there are some communities where you can get a lot of social clout by being, you know, kind of holier than thou. And as a consequence of that, I think a lot of them lean into that as a way of demonstrating virtue over others, and that makes them kind of purity testy and, you know, kind of mean, kind of bad. A lot of them engage in a lot of really abusive behavior without knowing it because they think that being on the quote-unquote right side of history gives them permission to engage in that behavior. Vaush, on the receiving end, you can read as sexist with how dismissive you are and you making the edgy jokes. The fact that you're always like this about everything is what makes it okay and funny. If I didn't know you, if I saw the wrong thing, I honest to God don't know if I distinguish between you and men who have been sexist and dismissive towards me. I understand that. I don't think that's necessarily wrong, but I guess the problem with that would be that in that case, that feels kind of like a piecemeal argument to just never being edgy ever. I have to assume people who engage with what I say are engaging with it in good faith. There are plenty of people out there who would not be immediately put off by an otherwise good video because of one joke, you know? Maybe you could, like, look at other content that I've done. I guess it's just like, it just feels kind of bad that I have like a million videos that you can go and look up my position on anything, but then a person would look at a stream of mine and hear me make like one offhand joke, and then it's like, oh, so it's all like crypto sexism or what. It's like, you know, I have to assume some level of good faith, because otherwise, if a person is looking for reasons to dislike me, trust me, I and the internet will give them plenty. Yeah, let's move on a little bit.
I'm the white working class. And sure, maybe now I live in a major city that skews more liberal, and that has influenced my worldview.
I'm a big fan, Vaush, but you realize you do this and we'll go on for very long times talking about how persecuted you are for people. I think, Mellocello, you're projecting. Come the f*** on. Oh my God, come on. This only ever comes up because people in chat start essay posting, and then, like I'm responding to chat. Please just shrug and move on. Don't type out 200 words and then get mad at me for responding to it. That's not me being defensive. I engage with chat. Like, I guess I'm defending myself from the idea that I'm especially bad on this, but I do that with everything, you know?
But I grew up in Florida.
Shrug and move on.
In a county named after a Civil War general that votes overwhelmingly Republican every single election season. I've never set foot in a gender studies classroom. I mean, I've never set
I think
foot.
being misogynist online makes things work. Oh my God, you guys can't help yourselves. Listen, okay? You know what's really off-putting to people joining the left? You guys woke scolding me. I made one joke like 30 minutes ago where I said, I wish women shut up. And since then, it's been a nonstop cavalcade of, you know, goody two-shoes in chat who are reminding everyone watching who might otherwise be on the fence that, yeah, if you join the left, you better walk on eggshells because you could make one joke and have 7 billion people explain to you about how problematic your joke. Please, God. Oh my God. Please, let me, please go outside. Please. Please. I'm not saying your concerns are entirely invalid here. I'm just saying, like, man, this gets disproportional. I'm edgy every stream. Why this? Why now? Why here? 2019 Vaush would make them regret living. 2019 Vaush would be about midway to a channel strike right now, I feel. Okay, we're watching the video. We're watching the video.
In a coal mine either, but I think that by most anti-identitarian metrics, I should be fairly representative of this imagined white working class. And yet, my politics have drifted further and further to the left over the years. But that isn't because of a bunch of streamers and podcasters stealthing class consciousness into my brain via a giant slur Trojan horse.
What point is being made here? I don't even know. This is just like a meaningless collection of symbols and references that vaguely tie into...
It's because of people of color, disabled people.
I can't get over how much she sounds like Jenny. Please, God, do not compare her to Jenny.
Queer people I've interacted with throughout the years who have honestly and openly discussed their experiences. It's because I've come to the obvious conclusion that our political struggles are intertwined.
She's doing the Lindsay Ellis voice so hard. Please, God. God damn it. Oh yeah, this is also a huge part of the, like, woke scold dialogue tree. It's when they say, you claim that edgy streamers move people to the left, but I was moved to the left by listening to the experiences of marginalized people. Edgy streamers didn't factor into it. This is in, like, every single one of these video essays, every single time, because they have to demonstrate that, again, because it's virtue signaling. Remember, the key points here are to demonstrate a sort of progressive, holier-than-thou tendency, and to that case, it's like, oh, no, see, as a real progressive, I was informed by listening to, you know, disabled, HIV-positive, queer, wheelchair-bound black trans women explain to me, using American Sign Language, their lived struggle. Whereas you, presumably, were radicalized by listening to a white man scream the N-word 50,000 times per stream. You know, and that's the difference between you and me.
And I don't think I'm the exception to the rule here. I think empathy is the default condition of humankind. That's why movies be so good. I'm not exceptionally intelligent or exceptionally easily persuaded. Okay, well, maybe I'm a little easily persuaded.
We know.
But, like, so are most people. That's why advertisements be so good. Also,
Please.
A massive percentage of the working class are women of color. So even if you are a class reductionist, alienating those demographics is just strategically not good. I think any...
That's true. But who are we accusing of being a class? Is, like, am I and Keffels the class reductionist here? I'm extremely not, but okay.
Political strategy that encourages you to abandon empathy for your allies is a misguided strategy at best.
Abandon empathy for your... Wait. When did we get to this? Was this established in a previous part of the... Probably, you know. They talked about Red Scare for a while. I don't think those bitches have any empathy. Oh, sorry. I said those bitches... I'm sorry. Nobody talks like that in real life, you know. Online, where the edgy wildebeests roam, I might get away with that. But in real life, if you casually say something like that, nobody... There's no way IRL communities filled with gay men would casually say stuff like those bitches. Your misogyny would not be tolerated. Vaush, you're bringing it up, now it's your fault. I admit, this time it's my fault. Vaush, actually, I got kicked out of an activist group for speaking like that. To be fair, that's a shit activist group. Any activist group unless you were doing something really f***ed up, if an activist group will kick you out for that, that probably means they're so concerned with, like, internal purity, they're not capable of coalition building, and that means they're not capable of doing their job. Vaush, I mean, you could get disinvited from a lot of stuff if you talk like that. Where? Where? Where are you guys doing? Are you where? From your baby classes in baby school? You mean like the Discord servers that you frequent where people get in trouble for not using the neo pronouns that someone added 4 hours ago to their where? Church youth groups. All right, I'll give you that one. The DSA wasn't letting your fans in? Yeah, well, the DSA sucks, and everyone knows about that, okay? Everyone knows that. That's why we have to fill it with Vaushites. Vaush, you should know that bitch has different meanings depending on context. You were clearly using it to dismiss women there. Yes! Oh my god. What is up? What? I don't even know if that was a joke.
And actively damaging your cause at worst. As Thought Slime points out in their video on a similar topic, the left doesn't really mean anything.
You'll hear the term used to describe everything
Hello.
from hardcore anarchist revolutionaries to neoliberal ghouls who at least don't actively seem to want to feed gay people into a wood chipper right now.
It's just an umbrella term that means anyone who isn't the right. And if we need to abandon some of our political...
Okay, we got past the point that I gave a shit about. All right, pretty bad video essay. I wonder if her other ones are better than this, you know? Like, in the most recent Contra video, like, Contra consistently makes good videos, though I do think they've taken a downhill turn, but the most recent one she put out just took a giant quality nosedive where she decided to dedicate 5 minutes of it to randomly complaining about me. There's something about me that just saps the IQ from other people. I don't know. Vaush, I swear this stuff is on a basic bell curve. I'm super on the same wavelength. Read misogynistic jokes, and all my female friends are the same. I think your chat is super young and not there yet. Yeah, I guess it just... I don't know. I guess it just kind of weirds me out that after 5 years of this, there are still people in my chat who are like, hey, I know that, like, casually online, like, 99% of the world is, like, okay with this shit, at least to the extent that it's expressed in certain contexts and it's, like, comedically appropriate or whatever. But, like, there are some portions of the left that aren't, and I'm gonna come into your chat and be, like, mad about it for you. I don't know. Find a better hit piece? There are no good hit pieces of me. I think chat should follow your rule of never be more edgy than me. That's always been my rule for, like, the community, and I think that's a good rule, you know? You can be less edgy than me. That's the rule, you know? The few times I've seen you mention or see or hear about Thought Slime, you seem to not like them. Is there some reason that? Yeah, the main reason is that they're cringe. That's always going to be, like, #1, cringe and soy. Also, they're just, like, an abusive, crybaby piece of shit who, like, has done and said a lot of up stuff, but because they're constantly signaling weakness, and because they have, like, 50,000 minority attributes they put on themselves, like badges, to give themselves more power in a tight spot. Like, it doesn't, like, come across for anything. Also, their videos are shit, let's be real here. They're just not that interesting. I tried to engage with them in good faith in terms of, like, video quality, but, you know, good thing we're immune to that. True. Thought Slime also lied about Zan running a sex cult. Yeah, that was one of the things that I was referring to. Dude, it was so fucking gratifying when I saw H-Bomb go after Illuminati, since everything that I've learned about Illuminati has given me the impression that she's another one of those, like, well, we've seen the video now, shit video essayists who, like, sort of weaponizes the fact that she's progressive as a way of avoiding criticism and dogpiling others, you know? And same with the other dipshit, that gay with the foofy hair, the one who attacks people and says, like, oh, they criticize me, by which I mean they sent me death threats for being gay or whatever. That, yeah, Somerton, yeah. Never heard him before the video. Yeah, I saw a bit of him and he looked, like, really bad. So, you know. I'm sorry, wait, to be clear, when I say looked really bad, I mean, like, he physically looked bad. Like, I think he's, unpleasant to look at. It's not even an attractiveness thing. Where's his stupid haircut? Hold on, I'd like to tweet making fun of him. I don't want anything to I don't want anyone to misconstrue me and believe that when I say look bad, I mean, like, anything other than his appearance. I have no idea what he was thinking with this one, but the idea that this guy could be legitimately a student of the film's art of film, while styling his hair this way, no way. It's the stone toss poop hair. It is literally the stone toss poop hair. Somerton was consistently openly misogynistic. It's crazy nobody called it out until H-Bomb. Yeah. Hey, it's almost like a lot of misogynists will, like, you know, play super woke and be, like, super PC or whatever and come across as really self-righteous, and the misogyny comes out in these little weird, like, incidental ways that indicated discomfort with the subject, as opposed to, you know, just kind of casually making sexist jokes now and again, like normal people. Like, you don't make sexist jokes about guys, you fucking hypocrites. Like, we don't all make jokes about men. Like, I haven't made jokes about men 50 fucking times this week. Oh, but when you make one about women, oh no, you're reinforcing social harmful norms, stereotype norms, harms against women. I don't know what these words mean, but I'm applying them in this case specifically because I'm weirdly uncomfortable with the idea of any kind of reciprocal fucking consistency here.